Do you guys remember? Did you guys ever hear the TLC song? Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk. You guys know that song?
Yeah.
Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Yeah, that song like in the 90s was like, oh, they just did sex on the radio. I was younger than you guys, right? So I'm like 13, and it was just like so sexy, you know? Like all the adults would just be like, what are you singing? To like the 11-year-olds. Those songs were cool because they started a conversation about sex. They did, you know, because like TLC was talking about let's talk about sex. Like we should talk about it, you know? And I mean, in general, like, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to talk about sex. Okay, so I'm Kelly Garza. I'm Steamy Chick. And I worked with a lot of clients one-on-one for steaming, okay? And so sex isn't directly related to steaming, but when working with clients and doing their intake forms, there would be stuff that came out, you know, about whatever was happening, like in their sexual relationships, that was interesting. And so what I realized is, like, you can't, there's certain information that it feels like is missing, you know, I think because so few people have talked about sex and it's so taboo. There's certain information that's missing about sex that like should just be common knowledge. Like I don't see myself as a sex educator. Like I can't. Like I'm too ashamed. I'm too embarrassed. Like I'm not really great at talking about sex, and I don't necessarily consider myself an expert in sex though. But I think that there are certain things that I wish people knew, or certain things that like I wish that I had known earlier. And so so I put together what I call my sexual health guidelines, what I call my vitamin S guidelines, because like vitamin S is obviously referring to sex, but sex can be healthy, and sex can also be like really unhealthy and like cause a lot of problems. So I call them the vitamin S guidelines because these are important sexual health guidelines that everybody needs to know. See? Once I start talking about sex, I start to get chatty. I start to go on. It's funny that I would be, you know, writing and sharing these like on the World Wide Web for everybody. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna tell you guys my sexual health guidelines. Number 1, respect the body. Okay, and I'm very specifically talking about the female body, or what medically would be considered the female body. I don't think there's like this thing that they say, which is it's gonna hurt. I don't think that that's useful. I think that instead of saying it's gonna hurt, I think that we need to say it shouldn't hurt, right? And then do the things that are necessary to make sure that it doesn't hurt. So there shouldn't be any pain at any point. If it hurts, then you should stop, you know, and figure things out and either resume another day or whatever. But it is really important to be vocal, let your partner know that, and there's no point that the body should be in pain. Why? Like for what? Like this is intimacy between two people. Whether they love each other or not, this is intimacy between two people who want to have fun, who want to enjoy. Like there should be no pain at any point. There should be respect for the body. Also, people who like pain during sex, there's consent and there's rules around that, and there's a lot of communication around it for it to work. Number 2, it's really important that you're having sex with the right partner, okay? I have a hard time defining what the right partner is, but I have a lot to say about who the wrong partner is, okay? And so I'm actually going to do another, talk about the wrong partner a little bit more later. But in general, the right partner is somebody who's willing to follow these guidelines, okay? They need to follow the vitamin S guidelines, okay? They need to be down with the idea that this shouldn't be hurting your body. They need to listen to you if you speak up and say that, you know, there's a problem. Number 3, there should be like a natural libido. This means like your body naturally wants to have sex. Like, I'm like surprised at how many times in how many situations women are having sex and they have no libido at all. They're only doing it out of some type of obligation, some type of coercion. And the sad thing is if I'm working with them with steaming, this means that there's a problem. Anyways, in general, like there shouldn't be like bleeding after, there shouldn't be any tears, there shouldn't be like, it shouldn't mess up your menstrual cycle, you know. And it's hard to say when the right time is, I think only that person knows, but would just like go ahead and let your natural libido, which is your sex drive, let you know when you should be having sex. If you're not in the mood, don't have sex. When you're in the mood and you have the right partner, that's your time to have sex. And it doesn't hurt, you know, that's the time to have it, okay? All right, so number 4 is to keep it clean, okay? So anything that's going to be touching the vaginal canal needs to be cleaned beforehand, and the vaginal canal needs to be cleaned after, okay? So people talk about urinating after. That's fine, urinating is good, but like, let's also get some water on it, you know, whether it's a bidet or a spray bottle, a shower. I love showers that have like a nozzle or a shower head that you can detach so that you can spray and get that area very clean, you know, get it nice and cleaned out afterwards. Even if there's not like any insemination, that's my fancy word for semen getting in there. But even if there's not that, if anything, you could have introduced like bacteria into the vaginal canal that should be used, or anything that could be introducing like chemicals. Now, any condoms or anything else that's being used, like just really beware of plastic and chemicals. Everything should, of course, be all natural, if possible. But either way, you want to do a nice clean of the vaginal canal after, okay? And I'm steamy chick, so I gotta say, steaming is a great way to do it. Post-sex steaming is, you know, very effective at, you know, cleaning everything after. Some people get infections every single time they have sex, so that's when I really recommend. Go ahead and steam after. Yes, like clean and rinse with water and then steam. It's very effective so that they don't have to deal with that problem. Number 5. I can't believe I'm saying this on the World Wide Web, on Instagram. But, okay, number 5, let me not be childish here. Number 5. Naturally, okay? Get wet, okay? So the vagina is amazing. It was designed not by anybody here, but it was designed perfectly. And there are 2 glands on either side of the vaginal canal opening that secrete fluid, natural lubricant. I call it the nectar, okay? Like this is like that fertile nectar. This is like that honey nectar that our body just naturally produces. Because we're beautiful. Because we're amazing. So these they're called vulvovaginal glands. This is the correct name for them. But some people like to refer to them as the Bartholin's glands because some European guy named like Bartholin thinks that he discovered them and then named them after himself. Okay, but anyways, vulvovaginal glands just means that they're on either side of the vaginal canal. Okay, so these vulvovaginal glands, when they are stimulated, when there's blood flow to them, when they are warm, they can secrete fluid. Okay, this nectar, and that makes it wet, juicy, slippery, whatever. This has to happen, and you want this to happen because number 1, it's like really sexy. It smells really amazing. Those people that just like love like going down, like this is what they like. This is like the bear stealing the. This is the bear going to the honey's nest. That fertile nectar that secretes. What prevents any pain. That. Is there somebody else who's more qualified to give this talk than me? I swear, I don't know how I'm out here talking about this. Okay, but anyways, y'all gotta know. You have to know. Unless you know, you don't, like, a lot of times, okay, the amount of times I had sex until this happens, you know what I mean? Like, this is what's supposed to happen. And as long as we know that this is what's supposed to happen, the partner needs to make sure that this happens, okay? The thing with women is that we're tricky. So it takes a while. It can take a while. So, some women know. Some women are already juicy just from the get-go, okay? But in general, like, you know, this is like, I think this is what makes like each individual unique, is to figure out like what combination of things is going to cause the lubricant to come out, the natural lubricant that we have. Okay. So anyways, so yeah, get wet at that point, and only after that point is when there should be penetration. I think people a lot of times, like whatever it's gonna take for somebody to get nice and like lubricated naturally is often called what people will call foreplay, which means like what happens before sex. That isn't. That's the main course right there. Like this is where a lot of time should be spent. You know, having that natural lubrication is going to prevent any bleeding from happening, any pain. You know, if somebody's naturally lubricated, also at this point their muscles are probably relaxed. So tight muscles and dryness. These are like two of the things that often cause pain during sex. So brings me to the last guideline, which is to wait for a penetration. Usually at this point, because of the kissing and the massage and the sweet words and all the things that caused her to get wet, you know, at this point there will usually be a contracting that happens with the vaginal canal will start to contract. Okay, so that's what I call wait for the invitation. Okay, so there should be penetration after the person gets wet, and then when there's that invitation, there's that like calling. That's it. Those are the guidelines. Okay, number 1, respect the body. There should never be any pain. Number 2, make sure you have the right partner. The right partner is willing to follow these guidelines, basically. Okay. Number 3, make sure that you are only having sex when you naturally are in the mood. Okay. Number 4, keep it clean. Everything that's going to be touching the vagina, the vaginal canal needs to be cleaned before, and the vaginal canal needs to be cleaned after. Okay. Number 5, get wet. Take all of the time that it takes. You know, again, respecting this person's body, figuring out what, you know, makes this person, you know, naturally lubricate. Take the time to do that. Okay. And don't use like commercial products. Like, the body has its own mechanism to do this. Like, let's use it. Like, this is gonna be funner. This is gonna be better. Okay. And then number 6, wait for the invitation. Like, the vagina will contract and call in. Like, you know, and that's the best time for any penetration that happens.